If you're sitting on the fence and thinking whether you should build a brand new property or you should buy an existing property, and then this is the video today. In today's video, we're going to break down the positives and negatives of building a brand new property as a home or an investment, and the positives and negatives of buying an established or an existing home. Now, this is based on mine and Simon's experiences of helping over 800 people buy either established homes or build beautiful brand new homes up here in Southeast Queensland. We hope you enjoy.
Some of the things that I absolutely love about building a brand new home is the fact that you get a beautiful brand new home. They look awesome. You get to be a part of the process. You get to create something with the builder. You get to go through it at each stage of the build as well and get to see the progress, which is a really exciting thing. You know, some of the other great things is the potential first home builder grants as well. In Australia, the government has been very generous with people wanting to build their first ever home and giving them some grants, which really stimulated the construction industry in 2020 and 2021. And on top of all of that, as an investor, you can get some amazing tax benefits as well because you are building a brand new home. There's a thing called depreciation, which you can get your accountant to provide you with a little bit of money back at the end of tax time.
One of the other things I love, man, about building brand new, and I think my wife and I have built about 6 or 7 homes now, brand new, which has been cool, or investments, is you can be a part of the process. Like, you get to pick the colours, you get to help with the design, you get to pick the site that you want and the suburb you want, and that feels fun. Like, creating something from nothing is like part of the dream of investing.
Yeah, so many times I've been through your builds as well, and you go through and you're like, okay, cool, here's where the bedrooms, the laundry, the outdoor entertaining area. It's such a fun process.
A few years ago, I remember building a place on the sunny coast, and I was at the site, which I don't recommend. You've got to ask your builder to go to the site, but it was my father-in-law building it, and I was at the site literally every afternoon for like 9 months, and I was just so excited about it and seeing it coming together. It was cool. But there's also a downside to building brand new. It can be extremely expensive, especially in the last year where building rates and trade prices have gone through the roof. You can also have really, really long delays. Like, building a home used to only take about 20 to 30 weeks, but in some instances in Australia now, with all of these delays and the undersupply, I've heard a year and a half to build some of these homes. So if you're looking to get in there straight away, that's something to take into account. One of the other things I don't like about building brand new is, you know, building in a huge greenfield site where there's just years or hundreds of years worth of land around you. I think a lot of investors particularly get burnt. You know, they overpay for the land value up front. The developer's already priced in the next 5 years worth of gains, and people can get really, really burnt there. On the flip side, I've seen really beautiful small boutique developments in Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, Perth do extremely well, and people have doubled their money over a short period of time. So it really depends on the market, the timing of that market, and following fundamentals as well.
Yeah, you definitely need to follow those fundamentals, and sometimes you see these new developments coming just nearby some water in a really good premium area of the suburb, but you also see some that are 100 k's from the CBD in the middle of nowhere where there's absolutely nothing out there yet.
Another one of the cons or the negatives with building brand new is you've got really limited choice. You're really dependent on the suburb where the land's available, or the place in the suburb where it's available. The land sizes are getting smaller and smaller and smaller in these new estates. So instead of the beautiful big 600 plus square metre blocks that we like to buy, you're looking at 300, 400 square metre lots. And often if it's a big greenfield site, there can be a lack of infrastructure in the suburb because they sort of build the houses and then build out the infrastructure to suit, versus building in the schools, the shopping centres, the transport options before they start, which has how it's always been. I think the only other major con for me is just often developers don't care who they sell the lots to. And therefore a lot of your neighbours, if you're looking to move in there yourself, can end up being renters. In many of the Lendlease, Stocklands, like Mirvac, the bigger developers in Australia's sites, it can be up to 70% renters. But what generally happens over a 15-year period is some of those investors sell out, more mums and dads move in. But the last thing you want if you're going to be raising your family is to be surrounded by 70 or 80% owner-occupiers with tiny little streets and cars all over the road. That said, man, let's talk about the existing option.
Yeah, which is our bread and butter. You know, we really like to focus on those existing houses. You know, some of the pros that come to the top of my mind is the fact that you've got far more choice, right? You can look at a range of different suburbs, especially in the big cities, you know, that have been developed hundreds of years ago, 50 years ago. So you've got a little bit more choice. And generally what comes with that, back in the day when these developers were bringing these new suburbs, they did cut them up into bigger lots of land. They have wider streets, and they've also got, you know, trees, and they're way more established and look a lot nicer. So that generally creates a little bit of a higher owner-occupier appeal, and that's why some of these existing suburbs generally have that higher percentage of owner-occupiers as well. I like the fact that they can sometimes be a little bit more affordable. Obviously, when you're buying really close to the city or really close to the beach, or you're buying a beautiful renovated home, you're always going to pay a premium for that as well, because it's in a beautiful area. You know, you're always going to pay for what you want there. But the flip side to that is true as well, which I love about buying existing houses, is you can actually buy an unrenovated house, or a house that was built 20, 30, 40 years ago that hasn't really been touched too much, mainly just maintained, and you can actually add that value yourself if you want to be a bit more of an active investor. And rather than paying the premium to add that value, you can do it yourself and sometimes get a little bit of an equity uplift if you can do it right, obviously.
You know, we're seeing heaps of that in Brisbane, Sydney and Melbourne at the moment, like smart guys like you online, getting a 2 or 3 bedroom home and turning it into a 3 or a 4 bedroom place, an unrenovated home, and fixing it up and making it look like in line with how you would like it to look, which if you're earning okay money, then someone else earning okay money would be happy to buy it off you or rent it off you. We've also seen in Brisbane more and more of these really rundown homes getting knocked over and rebuilt, which is a cool sort of in-between option where you get the bigger land size, the better location. You're surrounded by other high quality homes, but you get to custom create the design that you want on it as well.
Yeah, I love that. And that's, you know, part of my personal strategy as well. I'm going to do at least 2 knockdown rebuilds where I tried to buy the worst house on the best street. I'm sure you've all heard that before on another video or somewhere from a friend. So you can buy the bigger piece of land on the beautiful street in the best part of the suburb, and then essentially knock it down and rebuild a beautiful brand new home. But that can be very expensive as well to find the balance between both of them. I guess one of the things that I love the most about buying existing is the fact that you're getting in these established suburbs where you've got really good schools with a good track record, you've got good quality public transport options, you've got easy access to major arterial roads, you've got shops, cafes, restaurants, hospitals, shopping centres, cinemas, sports precincts, all of these things which, when I'm looking for a house, or when you're looking for a house for your family, you're looking at these things because you want to make sure that your kids have an awesome upbringing, surrounded by a bunch of kids, surrounded by, you know, good schools and fun things to do like that. And generally the established suburbs, the existing houses promote a little bit more of that. But there's always, you know, a flip side to that as well. So what don't we like about the existing?
You know, for me, as someone who's also bought a bunch of established properties and had a property management business in the past as well, maintenance, man. Like, you know, the older the home, the more stuff can come up, dishwashers, fans, air conditioners, etc., etc., etc. There's also the wear and tear on older properties. So generally when a tenant moves into a brand new place, they're kind of scared of damaging it and look after it better, where generally when a tenant moves into an older place, it's already a bit run down. They feel a little bit more of a liberty to just do what they want to do.
Oh yeah, I can speak to that myself. As I said, I bought the 2 knockdowns, but you know, they were in a rentable position. So I've got some tenants in there, and I'm getting far below market value rent for them because they are so run down. But I get my inspection reports from my property managers, and you know, the tenants don't treat them like it was their own home. Let's just say that.
Without a doubt. Like I'm there as well on one of my properties at the moment, but that's part of being an investor, right? So the only other con that I can think of for buying established is just, after talking to my accountant, I get far less tax benefits with that sort of property. But in a nutshell, like building brand new or buying an established home can both be extremely good assets, can be beautiful places for you to live in or raise your family, can be really, really good long-term investments as well. It all comes down to the fundamentals, whether you're going brand new or established. We just want to make sure we stick to good land sizes, great suburbs, great areas, whether they're major metro markets or major regional markets. And we just want to apply the fundamentals of, hey, if I was earning really good money, would I want to raise my family and stay in this particular place for the long term? And I think if you can overlay all of the numbers with that intuition, you'll make a much, much better decision.
And also just cross-referencing it with your financial position, your property investment goals and your strategy as well. Because sometimes when you're investing interstate, it can be tricky with all of those maintenance issues. So you might want a bit more of a modern home. And if you're a tradesperson that can, do some of that renovation work themselves, add some of that value themselves, that can be a really, really good thing to use. Or if you're in the construction industry, sometimes you can use, your connections to maybe build a little bit more of an affordable dwelling as well. So, to be honest, we're impartial. We love building brand new. We love buying existing. It all depends on the strategy at the end of the day.
Without a doubt. Now, if you're one of those people seriously considering whether to build brand new or to buy an established home up here in Southeast Queensland, we would love to hear from you. Over at our website, www.pumpedonproperty.com, we offer a complimentary strategy session where we can talk about where you are today, where you'd like to be in the future. We can educate you on the market based on our experience of buying over $250 million worth of property up here in Brizzy. And then you can take that with a grain of salt as a bit of an education and go and smash it on your own. Or maybe you can become one of the small number of people that we help buy or build for each week, each month up here in Queensland. But either way, we wish you all the best. We hope this video's given you a few little tips and tricks that you can apply. At the end of the day, as Simon said, it really comes down to your individual position and where you want to be short-term, medium-term, and long-term. But we wish you all the best, and as always, please stay safe.
Sweaty, so sweaty. Oh, that's good.